Let's talk about oil level for a couple minutes here. In the service manual, they'll give you an oil volume. Whatever comes out, this is what should go back in. So the first consideration is, unless you strip the entire fork completely apart and dry it completely and then reassemble it, you're not going to get all that oil out. So you have to be careful with how much volume goes in, because there's always going to be some residual unless you literally strip clean every component. And nobody does that, because almost nobody other than specialty suspension shops have all the tooling to do that. So what that comes back to is oil level. So you can do it by volume, which is what the book says, or you can do it by height. Now, of late, manufacturers have given us oil height ranges. So what does that mean? What it means is, if you run less oil, the suspension is generally going to, in the middle of the stroke, be a little plusher, just a little nicer, and will go through the stroke smoothly. If you run a much higher oil level, so if you were running 150 before and then bump it up to 100, and the smaller number does mean a higher oil level because we're talking about gap, then as you compress, then it's going to firm up. So based on what you own and the type of use you have with that motorcycle, there is nothing wrong with you playing with oil height, not playing with oil volume, because if you go too far on either, you're going to lose travel and get hydraulic lock. So if you are changing oil level, you need to make sure before the fork goes back on the bike that you can, with the fork on a piece of carpet and a rag on the top, with no preload and no compression, bottom the fork all the way and feel it tap. Not bang, but tap. If you can feel that, then you're at your maximum. The problem is, in the old days, you used to be able to take bolts out of the bottom of the forks and pump them dry, relatively speaking, and change your oil and pour it back in the top. We can't do that anymore with upside down forks. The forks have to come off and come apart. Well, while you're in there, why not be precise? Why not set the oil level accurately? So if you're heavier and aggressive, run a higher oil level. If you're not so aggressive, a little lighter, run a slightly lower oil level. You may find that that is extremely helpful to you in the way the bike behaves and responds for the forks. Outside of that, be willing to experiment. Is one thing, like tire pressure, it's supposed to be just this? It can't be. So find something that works for you, because you're going to change oil relatively frequently. So have a go at it, have a crack. Need more information? Go to the DM Tuning app or go to the Dave Moss Tuning YouTube channel.
Be sure to check out the Dave Moss Tuning app for iOS and Android. There you'll find grundles and grundles of information on tires, suspension setup, and more.